They include the names of many people connected to Jeffrey Epstein. Prince Andrew and former U.S. President Bill Clinton have already been mentioned, and more names are expected to come out. In recent weeks, new documents have linked Epstein to powerful and famous figures and exposed disturbing details about his life and crimes. There are videos believed to exist. The scandal has been under investigation since Jeffrey Epstein's death in 2019. This is where Epstein once served his sentence, and the fact that his story can still shock people today is remarkable. "I will not stop fighting. I will never be silenced," says one survivor. As you will see, the damage caused by this man continues long after his death. By refusing to answer lawyers' questions and claiming his right to silence, Epstein believed he could protect himself forever. After his death in 2019 and the imprisonment of his former partner Ghislaine Maxwell, many of Epstein's associates likely thought the scandal was finished. But after many years of legal battles, more than 150 people have now been publicly identified as being linked to Epstein and his sex trafficking network. Jeffrey Epstein was not only a predator of young girls and women, but also a skilled manipulator of powerful men. His crimes were horrific and took place on a massive scale, yet they were allowed to continue for many years. Epstein's wealth gave him freedom and access. He owned private planes and luxury properties across the world. Wherever he traveled, young women were supplied to him. He lived without limits and believed he could do whatever he wanted. His homes in New York, Palm Beach, California, Paris, and London were places where abuse took place in private. Girls were always available, arranged by people working for him. None of this might have been exposed without Virginia Giuffre. Her allegations against Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and Prince Andrew shocked the world. In a defamation case filed by Virginia against Maxwell, sworn statements were collected that are now public. Returning to Epstein's Manhattan mansion years later was deeply painful for Virginia. She described being abused by people she still cannot name, and said the building should be destroyed because of the suffering it represents. Journalists covering the case say they continue to be shocked by the level of cruelty involved. The emotional and psychological damage done to the victims changed their lives forever, and it is deeply unfair that the abuse went unpunished for so long. Journalist and author Lucia Osborne Crowley has covered the Epstein case for many years. She says the newly released files are extremely important because people were willing to swear under oath that these events happened. She also attended the trial of Ghislaine Maxwell, who was convicted of sex trafficking. According to testimony, Epstein could not have carried out his crimes without Maxwell's help. She recruited, groomed, and abused girls herself. The court documents also highlight the role of other people in Epstein's inner circle. One of the most controversial claims comes from Sarah Ransom, who said she saw recordings made by Epstein involving powerful men. These claims have been denied, and the existence of the videos remains disputed. Many people named in the documents have stayed silent. While most are listed as potential witnesses and not accused of crimes, questions remain about what they saw and why they did nothing. The documents suggest Epstein may have used abuse as a way to collect information for blackmail. Survivors describe how girls were questioned after encounters with influential people. Journalist Vicky Ward first heard about Epstein in New York social circles in the late 1990s. He was seen as mysterious, wealthy, and well-connected. His closest link to society was Ghislaine Maxwell. Ward was assigned by Vanity Fair to investigate Epstein's wealth. What began as a business story quickly became dark. She met Maria Farmer, who said she and her younger sister had been abused by Epstein and Maxwell. Maria was one of the first people to report Epstein to authorities, but her complaint was ignored. For decades, she continued to document the story through her artwork. Maria described witnessing Maxwell recruiting young girls in public places. These girls later appeared at Epstein's homes under the excuse of modeling or auditions. Maria believes that if authorities had acted earlier, many women would have been spared. The failure of the system caused lasting pain and fear. When Ward tried to publish the sisters' allegations, Epstein became threatening. He tried to intimidate her and stop the story from being printed. Eventually, the allegations were removed from the final article. Ward says this was a clear abuse of power. At the time, powerful men were rarely held accountable, and victims were often silenced.